Hello, everyone, and welcome back to an extremely quick episode of Bauerhausen Presents Album of the Year. And the past few weeks, I've become semi-re-addicted to podcasts, so I haven't spent a whole lot of time listening to my 1989 playlist. However, I did have time to go back to just one album this week, so let's take a look at Paul's Boutique by Beastie Boys. Released on July 25th, 1989, Paul's Boutique is Beastie Boys' second studio album. The album was released by Capitol Records after the band left Def Jam. The album was recorded over 2 years, partially in the apartment of music executive Matt Dyke and at the record plant in Los Angeles. This album is a radical departure from the party rap style of their debut, Licensed to Ill. It represents a period of ambitious exploration and experimentation for the band. And the band, along with producers the Dust Brothers, really pushed the boundaries of genre blending, sampling, and hip-hop production in general with this release. Paul's Boutique is a made-up store, imagined by the members of the band. For the album cover, the group hung a Paul's Boutique sign on an existing store at the corner of Rivington and Ludlow Streets in Manhattan's Lower East Side called Lee's Sportswear. Lee's Sportswear is the name of that store. I wonder if that's still there. I should look that up. Anyway, the album art and the gatefold for the album are a shot of Ludlow Street taken from Rivington. The photo was credited to Nathaniel Hornblower, a pseudonym for band member MCA, but was actually taken by a man named Jeremy Chatan, the original bassist for Beastie Boys before they changed their name from Young Aborigines. Paul's Boutique is it's like a sprawling sound collage. You'll never hear something like this in the modern day because of sampling laws that were created because of albums like this. This album contains over 100 samples pulled from funk, soul, rock, obscure cinematic references. It's a common misconception that all of these samples are uncleared. In reality, a lot of them did become cleared later on at much lower cost than it costs to clear a sample now, but as I said, it still changed the way that these sampling laws and the clearances and all that work in modern day. Lyrically, this album is a huge sign of maturation for the band. Licensed to Ill is a classic, and I'll never say otherwise, but in comparison, Paul's Boutique is a clear step in a more refined direction. The simplicity of their earlier work is replaced by multi-layered, more intricate narrative style. Each song feels like a vignette, oscillating between humor, satire, and genuine social commentary. There are more and more new things that you find on re-listens. I love an album that encourages you to come back over and over with how good it is, or how fun it can be to find a new part each and every time. Although the immediate success of this album was not good commercially, it just did not do well immediately. It's gained a lot of traction over the years. First gathering cult classic status and then just a classic album status eventually. It's been cited before as the Sgt. Pepper's of hip-hop music because of this. It's a pivotal moment in music history. It redefined what could be done with hip-hop and sampling in general. And it was an influence on legendary producers like MF Doom, as much as I hate to say it, Kanye West, guy's a shithead, but legendary producer, and the Avalanches, who are really well known for the name of the genre is escaping me right now, but it's a really interesting thing where all of the music is made up of existing music, like nothing is new. It's called Plunderphonics. That's what it's called, Plunderphonics. So look into that because I think it's really cool, and Plunderphonics was definitely inspired by the amount of sampling on albums like Paul's Boutique. I really don't think Paul's Boutique's legacy, can be brought into question. It's a legendary album. Picking a favorite song from this album, though, that's kind of tough. I love so many of them. High Plains Drifter, The Sound of Science, Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun, and Car Thief, just to name a few. But I think personally the standout track for me is Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun. The driving guitar and the instrumental on this makes it feel like one of the most punk rock hip hop songs that I've ever heard. And I love genre blending in general, and that kind of genre blending where rock and metal are introduced into hip hop. I know a lot of people hate nu metal, but man, that shit is awesome to me. And this is to me, it feels like an early inspiration for that. I don't know if that's accurate. Just that's what it feels like to me. As for a score for this album, I think I'll go with an 8. You know what? I'm gonna go with like 8.2. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. I think 8.2 is fair. I think that score could go up over time as well. As I said earlier in this episode, this album requires repeat listens to find all the best parts. So who knows? Maybe if I think about it, I'll do some revised scores at the end of each year that I cover here. I think that could be good to just look back. Anyway, that's all I have for episode 3. Thank you if you're listening for tuning in again for episode 3. I'm having a lot of fun going back and feeling old listening to these albums, realizing that they're as old as I am. If you're into pro wrestling, don't forget to check out Nattering Bola, a PWG Battle of Los Angeles review podcast co-hosted by Eric and myself. It's available through the Nattering with E or Visionaries Global Media podcast feeds, wherever you get your podcasts. So check that out. Let me know what you think. Let us know what you think in the comments. And that's all I have for you this time. So I'll be back the next time I have time to take another trip down memory lane to 1989. Until then, peace.